They never prepared you for the real world. They raised you to behave, not to dominate. They taught you to stay quiet, not to build influence. They trained you to follow instructions, not to write your own rules. Every lesson you received was designed to make you manageable, predictable, soft enough to be controlled, blind enough to trust the wrong voices. But that version of you is finished. The world you're walking into now demands a different animal, a colder mind, a sharper spine, a discipline carved from your own pain, not borrowed from anyone else's comfort. No father, no mentor, no school teaches a man how to become untouchable. No one teaches you how to read intentions, how to control your instinct, how to remain calm when everything around you tries to provoke you. No one teaches you how to be feared without raising your voice. So here it is, the truth they never wanted you to hear. You weren't born to blend in. You were born to rule yourself so completely that the world has no choice but to adjust around you. Power isn't loud. Power isn't emotional. Power isn't desperate. Power is the man who moves slowly, thinks deeply, speaks rarely, and acts with the certainty of someone who knows exactly who he is. That man is inside you, not tomorrow, not someday, now. And to wake him fully, you carry one declaration, your psychological crown, your identity in a single strike. Comment this below. I move with the authority of a born ruler. Say it until your doubt collapses. Say it until your silence becomes pressure. Say it until you start walking like a man the world cannot ignore. Because this is the moment your old life ends and your rise begins. You want to live like you're born to rule? Then understand this first truth. Power begins inside you long before it appears outside. Most people chase influence. They chase validation. They chase respect. But a ruler doesn't chase anything. A ruler builds himself until the world has no choice but to respond. Your throne is not made of gold. It's made of discipline. It's made of the choices you make when no one is clapping. It's made of the decisions you take when no one is watching. And it's made of the strength you show when everything in you wants to break. Power is internal before it ever becomes external. You rise the moment you refuse to bend for temporary feelings. You rise the moment you stop letting your emotions negotiate your goals. You rise the moment you decide your standards are non-negotiable. That's where real dominance begins, not in speeches, not in noise, but in the quiet battles you fight with yourself. A man who controls himself becomes impossible to control. A man who controls his reactions becomes impossible to manipulate. And a man who controls his desires becomes dangerous in ways others can't understand. This world tests you constantly. It pushes you. It distracts you. It tries to pull you back into the version of yourself that was easy to predict. But you don't return to who you were. You evolve into who you were meant to become. Walk with a colder mind. Move with intentional silence. Let your presence speak for you long before your words do. When you sit, sit like a king. When you speak, speak like every sentence is a calculated strike. When you act, act like hesitation does not exist in your vocabulary. And if doubt tries to whisper, you shut it down with the phrase you already carry. Comment this again below. I move with the authority of a born ruler. A man who understands that ruling begins the moment he masters himself. A man who is born to rule understands one thing early. Your environment is not background, it is a battlefield. Every place you enter either sharpens your instincts or quietly poisons them. Most men stay stuck because they stay surrounded by the same energy that created their weakness. They sit with people who fear change, who fear discomfort, who fear responsibility, and slowly they start fearing the same things. But you are not most men. You cannot evolve in places designed to keep you predictable. You cannot rise in rooms where ambition is treated like arrogance. You cannot grow around people who panic at the first sign of pressure. A ruler chooses his surroundings with precision. He does not stay where he is drained. He does not stay where he is doubted. He does not stay where his identity is questioned. He removes himself the moment a room demands he shrink to fit in, Because a king never lowers himself to make the room comfortable. The room adjusts to him. Your presence must speak before your words do. Your silence must carry weight. Your discipline must create tension. People should feel that you don't follow the atmosphere. You set it. Detach from those who try to tame your intensity. Distance yourself from those who feel threatened by your growth. Walk away from anyone who is more comfortable with the weak version of you than the powerful one. Your environment should challenge you, pressure you, force you to rise. Anything less is a slow death to your potential. Understand this. The man who controls his surroundings controls the direction of his entire life. Your space is your kingdom. Protect it, shape it, rule it. And whenever doubt tries to pull you back into the rooms you outgrew, remind yourself who you are becoming. A man who creates standards, not excuses. Comment this below. I command space. If you want to live like you're born to rule, you must master the battlefield no one else sees, your inner world, because before a man ever loses to circumstances, he loses to himself. Most men break long before life hits them. They break in their thoughts. They break in their insecurities. They break in the conversations they have with themselves when no one is watching. A ruler does not allow that kind of collapse. He understands that the real war is internal. Your emotions, your impulses, your fears. These are the shadows you must conquer before you conquer anything external. You must control your reactions with iron discipline. When people test you, you don't flinch. When they try to provoke you, you stay cold. When they expect you to lose control, you stay silent. Because silence is the weapon of the man who chooses his moments with precision. Understand this. Anyone who can control your reaction controls you. So you do not give them that power. You do not give them that access. You do not give them the satisfaction of watching you break character. You move with a mind that cannot be read. You speak with a tone that cannot be shaken. You stand with a presence that cannot be pushed. Most men react to everything. You respond to nothing unless it serves your advantage. Your restraint is not weakness. Your restraint is strategy. Your composure is not softness. Your composure is calculation. Your calm is not quiet. Your calm is dominance preparing its strike. A ruler does not let emotions decide his moves. He uses emotions as signals, not commands. He feels everything but bows to nothing. The man who can stay steady under pressure becomes the man others subconsciously follow. The man who stays calm in chaos becomes the reference point in every room. The man who owns his inner world eventually owns his outer world. This is the advantage of inner command. No one can take it from you. No one can predict you. No one can weaken you. When the world tries to shake you, you don't shake with it. When the world screams for your reaction, you deny it. When the world expects you to fall, you stand even taller. This is how a man becomes untouchable. This is how a man becomes feared without raising his voice. This is how a man lives like he was born to rule. Comment this below. I stay unshaken. Strength isn't proven by how much you show up for others. Strength is proven by how ruthlessly you protect yourself. Most men drain their energy trying to be available, helpful, present for people who wouldn't do even 10% of the same for them. They hand out their time like it's worthless. They give their presence like it costs nothing. And then they wonder why no one treats them like they matter. A ruler never makes that mistake. A ruler understands that access is leverage. The more people can reach you, the less they value you. The more you respond instantly, the more they assume you have nothing better to build. The more you say yes, the more they shape you into someone forgettable. Your presence must feel earned, not assumed. Your time must feel limited, not free. Your energy must feel guarded, not accessible to anyone who wants attention. You don't owe explanations for your distance. You don't owe apologies for your silence. You don't owe anyone the parts of you that you fought through hell to build. When people treat you casually, you step back. When they undervalue you, you create distance. When they assume you will always be there, you remind them with your absence that nothing about you is guaranteed. This is not ego. This is self-command. This is discipline. This is psychological dominance. Absence exposes the truth. Distance reveals loyalty. Silence reveals intention. People behave differently when they realize you will walk away without hesitation and without noise. You must understand something powerful. Your availability directly affects your aura. If they can reach you anytime, you lose mystery. If they can predict your responses, you lose authority. If they can treat your presence casually, you lose influence. A man becomes unforgettable the moment he stops living like he's replaceable. Your time is currency. Your presence is leverage. Your attention is privilege. Not everyone deserves it. Not everyone has earned it. Not everyone keeps it. This is how you rise above the noise. This is how you reclaim your value. This is how you carry yourself like someone who was never meant to be ordinary. Comment this below. I guard my energy. Power becomes real the moment you stop moving blindly. Most men waste their lives chasing distractions, reacting to noise, jumping from one impulse to the next without intention, without direction, without purpose. A ruler doesn't move like that. A ruler moves with strategy in every step. He acts only when the action strengthens him. He speaks only when the words serve his position. He invests his energy only where the return shapes his future. Your life becomes dangerous the moment you become deliberate. Every decision must serve a purpose. Every purpose must serve your identity. Every direction must serve your evolution. Men who chase quick pleasure collapse quickly. Men who chase validation lose themselves. Men who chase attention drown in emptiness. But men who chase improvement become forces others eventually cannot ignore. Your habits reveal your power. Your discipline reveals your destiny. Your consistency reveals your authority. When you wake up with purpose, your day becomes a battlefield you dominate. When you move with intention, your results stop depending on luck. When your actions align with your future cannot resist you. Purpose sharpens your thinking. Purpose kills doubt. Purpose eliminates emotional noise. Purpose makes you immune to temptation because you have something greater to protect. Weak men fall into traps because they have no direction. Strong men avoid traps because they know exactly where they are going. Every choice you make either builds your throne or destroys it. This is why a ruler does not rush. He does not chase. He does not react. He calculates. He waits. He strikes with timing that looks supernatural to those who don't understand discipline. You cannot live like a king and think like a wanderer. You cannot expect greatness while making decisions based on emotion. You cannot reach dominance without the backbone of purpose holding you up. Your intention is your power. Your strategy is your armor. Your discipline is your weapon. You are building something greater than a moment. You are building a life that reflects the strength of your mind. Move with purpose until purpose becomes your instinct. Comment this below. I move with purpose. The world doesn't respect who you are. It respects what you can control. And nothing is harder to control than the people you allow into your life. Most men keep the wrong company out of fear of loneliness, out of habit, or out of emotional attachment they don't have the strength to cut. A ruler is never afraid to stand alone. He understands that the wrong people can destroy you faster than any enemy ever could. They drain your ambition, they weaken your mindset, they cloud your judgment, and they make mediocrity feel normal. You must be brutal with the company you keep. Not emotional, not forgiving, not hopeful, brutal. Anyone who disrespects your time must be removed. Anyone who dims your intensity must be distanced. Anyone who competes with you secretly must be exposed. Anyone who envies you quietly must be eliminated from your circle immediately. A ruler doesn't surround himself with people who tolerate his growth. He surrounds himself with people who demand it. Weak men bond over distractions. Powerful men bond over discipline. Weak men gather to complain. Powerful men gather to build. Weak men cling to connections that stunt their evolution. Powerful men walk away without guilt because they value their destiny more than temporary comfort. You must treat access to you like a privilege. Once someone shows disloyalty, the door closes. Once someone crosses a boundary, their place disappears. Once someone reveals envy, your silence becomes permanent. Do not try to fix people. Do not try to carry people. Do not try to save people. A man on a mission cannot drag dead weight. Your circle is your armor. Your circle is your mirror. Your circle is your future. If your circle is weak, your future will be too. If your circle is threatened by your growth, they will sabotage it quietly. Keep people around you who think like you, who grind like you, who want more than survival. Because a king is never defined by the crowd. He is defined by the strength of the few he keeps close. Surround yourself with power, and you will rise with it. Surround yourself with weakness, and you will drown in it. Choose wisely, choose ruthlessly, choose for your evolution. Comment this below: I choose power. There's a reason powerful men speak less. Not because they are quiet, but because they understand one truth the world keeps forgetting. Your words are currency, and the more you spend them, the less they're worth. Most men talk to feel important. They explain themselves, defend themselves, justify their decisions, announce their plans, and then wonder why no one takes them seriously. A ruler doesn't reveal his mind. He doesn't broadcast his vision. He doesn't share every thought with people who haven't earned the right to hear it. Your silence is not emptiness. Your silence is strategy. It forces people to guess. It forces them to wonder. It forces them to respect what they cannot understand. Mystery is a weapon in a world addicted to oversharing. The less they know about you, the less they can predict you. The less they can predict you, the less they can manipulate you. And the less they can manipulate you, the more powerful you become. Never let people read your next move. Never let them understand what motivates you. Never let them see you emotionally naked. Give them nothing but the version of you that you choose carefully. People judge by patterns, so you create no pattern. People judge by reactions, so you master your reactions. People judge by weakness, so you show none. Even your victories must be quiet. Even your progress must be silent. Even your transformation must be hidden until it becomes impossible to ignore. A ruler's silence becomes a psychological throne. His words become limited, measured, precise, each sentence crafted with the weight of someone whose voice is not cheap. Don't waste your language on the wrong ears. Don't waste explanations on the wrong minds. Don't waste energy on the wrong conversations. Speak only when your words can shift the direction. Speak only when silence is no longer the dominant choice. Speak only when your voice is the final blow, not the first noise. A man who speaks too much loses influence. A man who speaks with purpose gains it. A man who controls his tongue controls his image, his power, and his world. Let your silence build your aura. Let your limits create your presence. Let them feel your mind without ever fully accessing it. This is how powerful men operate. This is how leaders establish dominance. This is how you become unreachable in a world addicted to attention. Comment this below: I speak with purpose. People believe strength is shown through aggression, but real strength is revealed through restraint. Anyone can explode, overreact, lash out, curse, or let anger take control. That's not power. That's weakness wearing a loud mask. A ruler chooses when to strike. He chooses when to speak. He chooses when to hold back. Because restraint is not the lack of power. Restraint is the mastery of power. Your enemies want you emotional. They want you triggered. They want you reacting. Because a reactive man is a man being controlled by the intentions of others. But a man who can remain composed while the world tries to pull him apart becomes untouchable. When someone provokes you, you don't give them what they want. You give them silence. You give them composure. You give them a version of you that scares them more than your anger ever could. Your calm should be a warning. Your stillness should be pressure. Your lack of reaction should expose their exposed desperation. A ruler never reacts instantly. He lets the moment breathe. He observes. He reads intentions. He analyzes angles. Because the man who pauses always makes the stronger move than the man who rushes. Restraint is spiritual armor. It protects your sanity. It protects your reputation. It protects your power. You lose nothing by staying controlled. But you lose everything the moment you allow someone else to dictate your emotions. A ruler does not bark for respect. He earns it through posture, through discipline, through silence that speaks louder than any argument. When the world pushes, you don't push back. You stand still until the pressure collapses on its own, because nothing is more terrifying than a man who doesn't crack under fire. This kind of restraint is what makes manipulators fail. It makes enemies confused. It makes weak men fear you. It makes strong men respect you, and it makes you rise in ways noise never could. A man who can control himself in the heat of conflict is a man the world eventually bows to. Comment this below. I stay in control. Power isn't just built by what you do. It's built by what you're willing to walk away from. Most men stay trapped in the same life because they cling to what's familiar, even when it's killing their potential. A ruler understands that evolution demands sacrifice. You cannot rise while holding on to everything that kept you ordinary. You cannot become powerful while protecting the habits that weaken you. You cannot grow while staying loyal to the version of you that was built for survival, not dominance. You must be willing to burn old identities, to cut old patterns, to break your own comfort, to detach from the person you were so you can become the man you're meant to be. Transformation is not gentle, it's violent. It demands self-discipline so cold that even your excuses shiver. It demands the kind of honesty that exposes your weaknesses and destroys them one by one. Most men are afraid of losing who they are. You must be afraid of staying who you are. Let go of the habits that drain your fire. Let go of the people who don't respect your evolution. Let go of the distractions that numb your ambition. Let go of the emotions that break your focus. Let go of every version of yourself that bows to comfort over conquest. A ruler doesn't cling. He sheds. He renews. He rebuilds. He discards anything that doesn't serve his direction, his mission, his identity. You must rebuild yourself with intention, piece by piece, habit by habit, thought by thought, action by action. There is no crown without a death, the death of the man you used to be. This internal rebirth is what separates you from millions who fear change more than failure. They repeat the same day for years and call it a life. You refuse to live on repeat. You refuse to settle. You refuse to be shaped by the limits others placed on you. Your evolution must be relentless. Your growth must be non-negotiable. Your identity must be earned daily. Burn the bridges that lead back to weakness. Leave no door open to the past. Destroy the escape routes that allow you to return to mediocrity. Become someone your old self would never recognize. This is how rulers rise. This is how power is built. This is how you become untouchable. Comment this below. I evolve relentlessly. Greatness doesn't appear by accident. It appears when a man finally decides that he will no longer live a life beneath his potential. Most men talk about rising. Most men fantasize about change. Most men dream about power. But only a very rare kind of man has the will to become someone his past self wouldn't even recognize. That man must be you. You cannot expect life to reward you while you operate like someone waiting for permission. You cannot walk like a king yet think like a follower. You cannot demand power while living with the discipline of a man who has nothing at stake. This world bends only for those who carve themselves with intention, for those who wake up with focus, for those who choose discipline over comfort, silence over noise, strategy over emotion, and purpose over pleasure. You must commit to a life that reflects the strength of your mind. You must commit to decisions that honor the man you are becoming, not the man you once were. You must commit to standards that don't drop for anyone, not friends, not relationships, not pressure, not fear. Your growth will make people uncomfortable. Your discipline will expose their laziness. Your ambition will trigger their insecurities. Your silence will disturb their chaos. Good. That is what a ruler's presence is supposed to do. Stop waiting for motivation. Motivation is unstable. Discipline is sovereign. You move because you said you would. You execute because failure is not an option. You rise because staying the same feels like death to a man with vision. Every day must be an act of becoming. Every night must be proof you stepped closer to the throne you're building. Consistency is your crown. Focus is your armor. Persistence is your sword. And remember this, no one will save you. No one will guide you. No one will carry you. Your evolution is your responsibility alone. You are building an identity that cannot be shaken, cannot be manipulated, cannot be dominated. A man who can master himself owns his destiny. A man who can command his path reshapes his world. A man who can rise without applause becomes unstoppable when the world finally notices. This is where your transformation becomes permanent. This is where the version of you that was easy to ignore dies completely. This is where the ruler takes his position, not by force, but by becoming undeniable. Comment this below. I rise relentlessly. If you reached this point, understand one thing clearly. Men like you are rare. Most people quit halfway. Most people escape when truth gets uncomfortable. But you stayed, you listened, you absorbed every line like a man preparing for a different life. That alone proves something dangerous about you. You're not here for motivation. You're here for transformation, and transformation demands consistency. Not one video, not one moment, not one spark. It demands a mindset fed daily with discipline, strategy, and ruthless self-respect. Everything you heard today is only a fraction of what you're capable of becoming. If you want to keep rising, if you want to keep sharpening your mind, if you want this new identity to become permanent, then don't walk away. Stay, watch more, absorb more, evolve more. Because the men who rise the highest are the men who stay connected to the source that fuels their power. Comment this below. I stay growing.